Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Learning Catalyst. Today we are going to learn about metals and non-metals. All the objects in the world are made up of elements, compounds or their mixtures. Scientists have classified all the elements into metals or into non-metals. Metals and non-metals are very important in our day-to-day life. All the objects around us are made up of metals and non-metals. Metals can be in the form of steel spoon, nail, coin, ring, safety pin, etc. Whereas non-metals can be in the form of a rubber band, matchbox, plastic spoon, a plastic ruler, a wooden ruler, etc. These are a few examples of metals and non-metals. Now let us look at detail about what are metals and what are its characteristics with regards to the physical properties and chemical properties. Characteristics of metals are: metals show luster, that is, they are shiny. Second is metals are hard. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals give their valence electrons to produce cations. Metals are malleable and ductile. Let us look at the physical properties of metal. First is physical state. Under ordinary temperature, metals stay in solid state. However, metals like mercury and gallium are exception, which are in the liquid state even at room temperature. Second is luster. Light gets reflected from the clean or freshly cut surface of metal, and that metal looks lustrous or shiny. Then comes the hardness. Generally, metals are hard, not soft, but there are exceptions like sodium and potassium, which are soft and can be cut with the help of a knife. Next is ductility. When a metal is pulled through a hole, its wire is formed. This property of metal is called ductility. Then is malleability. When you keep on hammering on an iron nail, after some time you will see a thin sheet forming. This property is called malleability of metals. Next is the conductivity of metals. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Some examples are silver, copper and aluminium, which are the best conductors of heat and electricity. Next is the density. Metals of high density. Sodium, potassium, lithium are exceptions. Next is the melting and boiling point of metals. Generally, metals have very high melting and boiling point, except gallium, sodium, potassium, etc. Now let us look at the chemical properties of metals. First chemical property of metals are formation of ions. Metals have a tendency to lose their valence electrons to form a positively charged ion, that is cation. Second is reaction with water. Most metals do not show any observable and fast reaction with cold water. Next is reaction with oxygen. Metals combine with oxygen to form their oxides. Now let us look at what are non-metals and their importance and characteristics of non-metals. Non-metal is an element that is generally a poor conductor of heat and electricity. Now let us look at the characteristics of non-metals. Most of the non-metals are in the form of gases, for example hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, etc. Second, one of the non-metals among the periodic table is liquid, that is bromine. Third, and a few of them are in the form of solids like carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, etc. Let us look at the physical properties of non-metals. First is physical state. At ordinary temperature, non-metals occur as solids, liquids and gases. For example, carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, bromine, etc. Second is luster. Non-metals do not have luster except diamond and iodine crystals. Non-metals are not malleable and ductile and cannot be drawn into sheets or wires. Next is brittleness. Take a coal and hammer it. What will you observe? Non-metals are brittle and can be drawn into powder. Conductivity or conduction of heat and electricity. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity, and hence wires are always covered with rubbers to avoid conduction of heat and electricity. Next is melting point and boiling point. Non-metals have very low melting and boiling point as compared to metals. Next is density. Non-metals are very low densities. For example, plastic spoon is very light as compared to metal spoons. Now let us look at the chemical properties of nonmetals. First is formation of ions. Nonmetals have the tendency to accept electrons in their valence shell to form negatively charged ions called anions. Second is reaction with oxygen. Nonmetals combine with oxygen to form their oxides. Next is reaction with acids. Nonmetals do not react with dilute acids. So in today's video, we have learned in detail about what are metals and nonmetals with regards to their characteristics and physical properties and chemical properties. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel.